Hey, I'm Alex with Marc's Mobility, and in this video we're going to show you the difference between the golden Buzzaround EX and the Pride Mobility Revo 2.0. So stay tuned. All right, so in this video we're going to compare the two scooters, the golden technology, Buzzaround EX. This is the four-wheel version. They do make a three-wheel version as well. And then over here, we're going to have the Pride Mobility Revo 2.0. Once again, this is the four-wheel version, but they do make three-wheel versions of both of these units. So the first thing that we're going to compare in this video is going to be general specs on these units. I'm going to go ahead first over here with the golden Buzzaround EX. This particular unit has a 350-pound weight capacity. It is going to go up to 5 miles an hour top end speed, and they say up to 18 miles of total drive distance. Now, once again, the 5 mile an hour speed and the 18-mile total drive range is going to determine the weight of the user, the terrain, the incline they're on, and how much they're stopping and going, and then also what speed they're on. So do take that into consideration. If you don't quite get those full specs, don't come back mad at us. That's just what the manufacturer states. Now over here, we have the Pride Revo 2.0. This particular unit is going to have a 400-pound weight capacity, so 50 pounds more than what we have on the Buzzaround. This Revo is going to be 400-pound weight capacity. This unit's also going to go up to 5 miles an hour, and they have probably a little bit more of a true reading on specs, and it's going to say 13-mile total drive range. So this is going to be the general basic specs between these two units. The next thing we're going to compare between these two scooters is going to be the overall length and the overall width. So once again, I'm going to go ahead first with the Buzzaround EX. On this four-wheel unit, your overall width, now this is at the wheelbase, the overall width is 21.5 inches. The reason why I mentioned overall width is both of these units are going to be airline approved, also cruise ship approved. And a lot of times if you don't have a handicap room, you have a 22-inch door opening. So this is going to be 21.5 inches wheelbase. The Revo is going to be 21 inches at the wheelbase. Now, bigger seats mean wider arms, which mean you might not be under that measurement, but I'm going to go over that here shortly as well. But right now, we're just going to go about the wheelbase. 21 over here, 21.5 over here, and the Revo is at 21 inches in overall width. Now, the length of these units without the front basket, because the basket's able to be removed or the tiller might be folded down towards you, but just to the front wheel, to the back tip wheel on this particular unit is 43 inches on the Buzzaround EX. And then on the Pride Revo, same thing without the front basket. Like I said, because typically that'll be tipped back towards you, you're at 44 inches in overall length. The next thing we're going to talk about is going to be turning radius. So it's going to be how much space do you need to turn this around. Turning radius on the Buzzaround EX, because they do come in a three-wheel and they also come in a four-wheel version. On the three-wheel version, you're going to be at 42 inches of overall turning radius. On the four-wheel version, you're going to be at 56 inches of overall turning radius. So once again, 42 on the three-wheel and 56 on the four-wheel. Now, when you come over here to the Pride Mobility Revo 2.0, if you had a three-wheel version, you're going to be at a 40-inch turning radius. And with the four-wheel unit, you're going to be at 52 inches of turning radius. So if we're looking strictly on turning radius, the Pride Revo 2.0 would win this competition. The next thing we're going to talk about is the overall seat size on the unit. Now, the Revo only has one seat. It comes standard with the 20-inch seat. It's 20 by 18 flip-down seat. The reason why I want to mention that is there is no smaller seats you can get on here. And we kind of talked about in the previous segment about the going through a cruise ship door at 22 inches. Well, with your armrests on this seat, you're actually at 25 inches. Now, these armrests come off easily, so you would have to take the armrests off if you are intending to go through a cruise ship door, because you are at about 25 inches in overall width with the seat that comes standard, or the only seat that comes on the Revo. Now, the standard seat that comes around on the EXs is going to be this 18-inch seat, and the armrest from outside of armrest to the outside of the other armrest is right at 22 inches. So you might have to take the armrest off or be a very good driver to drive right through a 22-inch door opening. But that is the standard seat. There is an upgraded seat. You are able to get a 20-inch seat on here, but that is an additional charge. But once again, so they do come with an 18 or a 20, and the Revo only comes with a standard 20-inch seat. In the next segment, we're going to go with the overall heaviest piece on the unit. So here first, I'm going to go ahead with the Buzzaround EX. On the 3-wheel version, you're going to be at 46 pounds, the heaviest piece, which is going to be your front section. And I'm going to show you that in a video overlay of what that would look like breaking apart. But that front section is going to be 46 pounds. Now on a 4-wheel unit, because you're going to have suspension and you have an extra tire, you're going to be at 53 pounds. So 53 pounds is what the heaviest piece would be on the Buzzaround EX if you were breaking this unit apart. Now on the Pride Revo 2.0, if this unit breaks apart, it still is the front section that is the heaviest piece. The heaviest piece on the Revo is 48 pounds. That is going to be your front section. And then that is on the 3-wheel version. Once again, since you have all this extra suspension, heavier suspension, and you have extra tires, on the 4-wheel version, now you're going to be at 57 pounds. So the Revo is going to be a slight bit heavier than the Buzzaround EX if you're comparing apples to apples on just the 3 versus the 4-wheel scooters. The next thing I'm going to compare between these two scooters is going to kind of be the overall tiller, look, feel, and probably performance of what these are going to represent. So I am going to start first over here with the Buzzaround EX. This particular unit does have a speed dial just from fast to slow. But the real major difference that I see with this particular unit is you have 4 lights on here. So you're going to have a red, an orange, and 2 greens when you're fully charged. But do remember, they're going to say up to 18 miles per charge. So every time you lose a light, it might be a little bit more confusing on exactly really kind of how much total distance do you have left, because there's 4 lights going to represent up to 18 miles of total charge. The overall look and feel of this is going to be a very comfortable, this wraparound Delta tiller, but it is going to be smaller, it is going to be a little more compact, and have a little bit less functionality than what I'm going to show you over here on the Revo 2.0. So now here on the Revo 2.0, once again, it's 13 miles on a charge, but when your unit is on, you're going to have approximately 10 lights, a couple reds, 3 ambers, and then about 5 green lights. So what that's going to represent is 13 miles, so you're going to have a better indication of if I lose a light, each light's going to represent about a mile. So you would be a little bit more easy to identify, you know, close to how much range you have left than potentially over here when you have 4 lights representing 18 miles. So that's going to be the first thing, just for peace of mind for people that do drive these farther distances and want to make sure they're able to get home. The Revo would win in this category just by how it's going to show you your digital display and a lot more accurate. And then also over here, it just seems a little bit more sturdy, this handlebars. It seems a little bit bigger. The tiller does stick up a little bit higher, so when you're bringing it down towards you, it's not going to sit as low in your lap. So I do think I like the look and the feel of the Revo tiller the best. The only knock I would give on this tiller as well is going to be probably potentially where the horn is placed. Now, I do tell everybody, if you are getting a Revo and you are breaking this apart, make sure you don't just drop this tiller all the way down, because I've had a few people just smash the horn. It's very easy to take it out, but it will, all of a sudden your horn just stays on. And then your speed dial is going to be similar to that speed dial. It just seems a little bit more heavy duty, but it's the same concept. You go from a turtle to a rabbit on your intermittent speeds over here, and then you also can control it with how hard you're pulling your throttle forward and backwards. And then last thing I might mention too is on Pride, putting the accessories on here, whether it's a cell phone holder or whether it's a rear view mirror, little buttons that pop out and it's threads underneath them, you just screw them in. On the Buzzaround EX, it's a lot more of clamp type settings you got to set onto this tiller to be able to hold it. So overall, between the two units, I would say the Pride Revo 2.0 on the tiller section is going to win my vote. All right, so over here, I do want to mention 2 next things. I want to go over the suspension, and I'm going to go over the lights. So what I like about Golden Technologies is the light is located down here. It is adjustable up and down an angle, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to turn that on for you so that you guys can see that light. But it is adjustable, so you are able to adjust where you want it shown, and then when you lower your tiller down towards you, it does not move the light because it's below that break point. So I do like that is going to be a visible light at night when driving around, And you also do have tail lights, a small tail light that comes on when your headlight is on as well. Now you do have suspension here in the front on the 4-wheel and also on the 3-wheel, but on the Buzzaround EX it is non-adjustable suspension. It is good suspension. You do definitely feel the suspension, but there's no adjustability to the suspension on the Buzzaround EX units. Now over here with the Pride Revo, I'm going to go with the light first. So the light is a light that is up here. So one thing I do not like about the light design on the Revo, if you're going to be using a light, is that when this tiller is pulled back towards you at this angle, well, now your light is shining here and it's no longer down on the ground in front of you. So unless your tiller is all the way up, your light's still shining, kind of hitting your basket, so it's really not going to light up your path as much as it's just going to try to make you visible at night. And then in the rear, the Revo does not have any rear lights that come on unless you're actually engaging the throttle. So unlike on the Buzzaround, when your light is on, your tail light and your headlight's on the Pride Revo, when your headlight is on, your tail light does not come on unless you're actually engaging the throttle. Now on the suspension, there is no adjustability on the 3-wheel version of the Revo. There's no adjustable ability on the suspension, but on the 4-wheel there is a big washer located, and you can actually suppress that spring, or you can reduce the pressure on that spring to basically adjust the suspension on the Revo. So overall, between these two, I would probably say I like the Buzzaround EX better based on where the light configuration is and where the tail light is on it all the time, and apples to apples. The next thing we're going to talk about is overall tire size. If you look at these tires between the two, over here you have an 8.5 by, let's say we'll call it a 3-inch tire, and on the Buzzaround EX, similar 8.5 by 3-inch tire. So they're going to be the same size tires on both of these units, but the tread is going to be a little bit different. The Revo is going to have a little bit more of an aggressive tread, which might help a little bit outside for traction, but not much. The Buzzaround EX is going to have a little more rounded tire, which might have a little bit smoother of a ride. But overall, between the two, I really wouldn't say tires make any difference. So here we're going to compare a few different things. The first thing I want to compare is going to be kind of the accessories on these two particular units. So first thing I want to mention is on the Revo 2.0, you have a built-in USB charging port. So there's a built-in USB port right here in the front. You can plug that in. If you had a cell phone holder here, you'd be able to charge your cell phone off your scooter's batteries while using the unit. Just to double check, on the Buzzaround EX, there is no accessory port like that, so that is something optional accessory, or additional accessory you'd have to purchase to be able to charge your phone charge the phone off the batteries on the scooter. Now, talking about charging of the batteries on the Revo, you are able to take the two battery packs off and you are able to slide them together, and then you can plug your charger right into the side of the battery pack over here, and you're able to charge the batteries off the unit. So you can leave the scooter in the vehicle, take your two batteries inside, hook them together, and then charge them with no additional accessory needed. On the Buzzaround EX, there is a separate type of either docking station or Y cable that you're going to need to be able to plug into the back of the batteries to sync them together, and then your charger would plug into that. So this does have to be charged while it's completely assembled unless you buy the additional piece. The Revo, there is no additional pieces needed to be able to need to charge the batteries outside of the unit. Now I will say both companies are going to have your cup holders, your rear view mirrors, you're going to have your cell phone holders, your rear baskets, your flags. So pretty much accessories across the board are going to be very similar. Now I will tell you, colors is going to be a little bit of a difference between the two. So now Pride Revo has this almost full body shroud all the way around. That's going to be a really thick shroud. They're going to come in two colors, this metallic gray, silverish color, or it's going to come in this light blue color. Those are your only two color options, but it is going to be most of the whole unit. Where on the Buzzaround EX, you only have shroud inserts. So you're going to have where you see the red on the scooter over the rear wheels in the front and on your tiller. It is going to come standard with red and blue inside the box when you originally get it, so you can put either one of those colors on. and they are going to have a handful more colors, but those are going to be for an additional upgrade charge. So just to kind of go over both of them, the accessories are going to be the same, but I do like the Revo a little bit better in the sense of you don't need to buy anything extra to charge your batteries, and it comes standard with the USB charging port. And the last thing we're going to compare between these two, which is probably most important for a lot of people, is going to be the overall price point. Now, if you were just to get a basic, stripped down, no extras on the Buzzaround EX, currently in the middle of summer of 2024, the EXs are going to be a little bit cheaper of a price point. Not a ton, but about $30 to $40 cheaper than what a Revo would cost you. But if you want to get this unit and you want to have the charging cable and the bigger seat, well, now the Buzzaround EX is going to cost more. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you do need the bigger seat, well, hey, Revo comes standard, no extra charge. Hey, if you don't need the bigger seat and you don't mind charging it all together, then the Buzzaround EX is going to be a little bit of a cheaper option for you. So price, it is going to be close. It's not going to be a game changer between one or the other, but standard apples to apples, the EX is cheaper. But if you were to kind of get the extra accessories to make it kind of match the Revo, then the EX would be more expensive. All right, here's the Revo 2.0 by Pride Mobility. You can see this is going to be a pretty good turning radius right here. I mean, this scooter does not slow down even when you're turning. The unit is going to have some very good suspension as well. In the front of this scooter, you can see if I kind of rock forward that amount of suspension on there, you can see I'm 220 pounds. I mean, you can really see how that flexes when I start to apply extra weight onto that. Once again, being 6 foot tall, 220 pounds, you can kind of adjust this tiller wherever you best feel suited. Sometimes people need it down here in their lap. Other times, if they're really heavy set, they need it all the way forward. Do remember these units do come with a swivel seat, and now they're no longer coming with the underneath storage. That is optional. You can buy that now on these units, but it's not something that comes standard anymore. But you are able to swivel this seat. Really, you can swivel it all the way around. It locks every 45 degrees if you let go of the handle. And then up here, I wouldn't say like stand on this, but you're definitely able to kick your feet up here. And you can see, I mean, it would fit me a little bit better being 6 foot tall if my feet were up in this position as compared to being down here. I do always caution people that are heavy set that can't bend their legs at this angle that they will have to put their feet up here, and sometimes that creates a little bit of strain on their knees. So do think about that when you're buying a 3 or 4 wheel unit between these, of just going to be overall leg room, overall width of the unit, and overall turning radius as well. And then that leg room is going to be that overall important factor. But once again, I mean, the Revo is going to have plenty of power. I can even demonstrate it over here a little bit. I can go in the grass, kind of show you that's not going to have any issue going through the different terrain. So follow me over there, and I'm going to do a little outside in the grass demonstration. All right, so this unit does not have any problem in the grass. I mean, granted, you're not going to want to go somewhere that's super sandy or super wet, but you know, it's not going to be like an all-terrain extreme scooter where you want to say, oh yeah, I can take this in all different terrains. But I mean, hey, if you need to get across your yard, this is not going to have any problem with a unit like this, sparing, you know, you're not in Florida where it's all sandy or St. Augustine type grass. You can see we got a little bit of a lip right there. It's got plenty of power to get over it. So yeah, I mean, overall, the Revo is a fantastic unit. And now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go grab that Buzzaround and drive that as well. So one thing initially that I noticed right off the bat between the Buzzaround EX and the Revo is the overall acceleration. I mean, I know the EX is going to get to that top end speed. I would say reverse is definitely going to be slower, and then also that forward acceleration, it definitely takes probably twice as long to get to that top end speed as compared to on the Revo. You can see the turning radius here. It is a pretty good turning radius. It's only like a couple inches different than on the Revo. So that is going to be very nice. I can tell you this tiller does sit a little bit lower, so if you are heavy set and you want to pull this down towards you, it will sit a little bit low or on your thighs. The Revo sat about an inch or so higher. And this is a little bit smaller of a configuration too. Revo just feels like a little bit bigger and sturdier to grab onto. Your floorboard space is going to be similar. I would say up here as well, the Revo feels a little bit stronger than the Buzzaround EX. If I was to apply pressure on this, apples to apples, yeah, the Revo would definitely feel a little bit like of a stronger mold up here. But both units have the swivel seat, so you can get in from either side. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, kind of drive in the terrain just so you can kind of see it. But once again, I mean, you can see the suspension on this, especially in the back when you sit down and you're going over stuff, you can feel it. So it does have really nice suspension on the EX. All right, so here I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the Revo. Once again, you can just tell like the overall acceleration is not the same. So when you're coming up to an object and you're slowing down, it's not going to take off as fast. Suspension wise though, just as good. I wouldn't say there's any difference in the feel of the ride or the overall traction of the tires, but I can say when you're trying to turn around in your yard, it's just that initial surge of power is going to be a lot less on the Buzzaround EX. I mean, maybe that has something to do with also the overall drive distance, just like on a lot of stuff out there these days. When you have a surge of power, it takes a lot more juice to get going. That Revo does kind of accelerate right out of the gate, where this is a little bit of a slower start, so that might have to do something with the overall range. But once again, you're not going to go wrong with this unit either. The Buzzaround EX is a fantastic unit for what you're getting. So if you have any questions between either one of these units, give us a call. We would love to help you, and we do ship these units all around the country. So give us a call. We'd be glad to speak with you.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And my name is Alex. We're co-owners of Marc's Mobility.
I started this company in 1995.
We sell many products, not just what you see in this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please call us at the number below at 800-677-6293. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.